Hello and welcome into SorareAndrews, brought to you by Sorare Data. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined as always by Andy Black, Black86, and his dog, who looks like she just woke up, maybe. Oh, and she's out of here. Joined this week by Keith Jameson, GatorGuy231, who filled in for me last week and did such a great job of completely ignoring the one topic he suggested we talk about, he and Andy, and then Maxime, that I had to come back and fix everything. Keith, welcome back. Maybe we can actually talk about what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did say, I'm trying to remember exactly what you said with the tweet. We'll stay on topic. I'm like, well, the purpose of the show is to get off topic within like 3 minutes, so we can start there, and then do Andrew's stuff.
Do Andrew's stuff. That's a loaded.
Which, by the way, not to like derail us right away, but over the course of the past 2 weeks, I've had 2 watermelons that were fantastic. So they're definitely making their way up the balance of greatest fruits of all time.
Do you want to tell everyone what egregious statement Keith told us the other day that almost made me uninvited from this show? Keith, don't even.
Yeah,
Terrible.
He thinks kiwis are the best fruit.
Kiwis.
I was like, they're moving
really climbing the list.
So good. Oh my God.
Get out of here.
Come on. Oh, they're delicious. Oh my goodness.
There's so much work, first of all. So much work. And then you just get a bunch of green goo. That's all it is. A bunch of green, like a ball.
Maybe you're picking out the wrong kiwis, Andy.
Maybe. Is it like a well-known myth that if you eat the skin of the kiwi, you will just die?
Never tried.
Have you never heard that?
I'm gonna.
That's what I was led to believe that growing up. I don't know who told me that, but literally, like, if you eat the skin of the kiwi, like you will die. Simple as that.
I probably killed your impression of kiwi. You're like, if I do this wrong, I'm gonna die.
Right? Like, is there any skin on that? Is it? It might have, to be honest. I actually don't.
Like at a restaurant, you're like, can you make sure the skin doesn't touch the fruit you're about to serve me? I really don't want to die today.
Who gets kiwi at a restaurant?
No, I mean, it's been on salad stuff. No.
I don't know.
All right, great to see you guys.
Served in here that may have touched anything. Anyway, now that we've cut bait with kiwi, let's talk about what I do. Anyway, so let's go back to last week before the show where you guys didn't talk about what we were supposed to talk about. And Keith, why don't you tell us why you wanted to talk, why you suggested this topic? Now, I will say to everyone, I was obviously going to be away, and I asked Keith to fill in. I actually didn't even ask Keith. Andy was like, I've never done a show with Keith. I think that'd be fun. And I was like, that would be fun. And Keith, the overachiever that he is, 6 days early was like, I have a topic. And Andy's like, whoa, we don't do that here. But we had a topic, and we'll just discuss it a week late. But please, what made you think of this topic, Keith?
I was actually, LTO at the time. Me and you were doing our flipping stuff, and I ran into a really bad flip and was cutting bait. But then on top of that, I think within the couple days, the Sorare news had come out, and there was like a 2-minute window that you could cut bait to like a bot or somebody like that if you wanted to get off. And just with all the Saudi players out there, I thought it was an interesting thing for somebody that doesn't do a lot of selling like Andy. Like Andy will sell, but he is more a team hold. Like, at what point is it right that this player might be dying for SO5 utility? Like, when should I get out? What's too early? What's too late? At what point do we just hold and just go, oh, well, maybe he'll come back to life? That was all the stuff going through my head on that.
So there was a time where I refused to sell cards at losses, and it became easier when every card was worth less. Like, I actually got to the point where I think it was when I got all excited that I paid 0.65 ETH. And I'm going to use the ETH price then because it was back when we thought about ETH instead of fiat. But I paid 0.65 ETH for an Alessio Castro Montez super rare. And my good friend Andy Black was like, great buy. And I'm like, thanks. I feel pretty good about it. And then sometime later, it was like 0.2. And I was like, man, I wonder if I should cut bait with this. And I basically decided I was going to, and nobody wanted it. But I at least got the mental hurdle of I will sell this for a loss because everything else was kind of lower. And that's when I started to, like my limiteds, when my limiteds were worth like 10% of what I bought them for. But the messy rare was also 10% of what it was when my limiteds were valuable. And so it's almost like I became comfortable selling cards at a loss as long as everybody was taking losses. Thanks for coming in.
How do you feel about Castro Montes going to USG, though?
Did it happen yet?
I mean, I think it's close.
Is it close?
If you will it, it could happen.
Yeah. If you don't will it and you keep saying these negative thoughts towards ACM, then he's going to end up on a Serie A bottom of the table team. Just totally like possible.
Wasn't it Germany? Wasn't it Augsburg? I think that's where
Hamburg. It was Hamburg first, and then Hamburg found a new back.
They literally found anyone else.
And then Augsburg I think was the other rumor that was very bad.
That's fair. I'll be honest that the reaction I had to the USG rumors was like, oh, now I should go get Anthony Morris. And I hate having to I hate being forced to buy goalies. And that's going to force me to do it.
You got some Luxembourg utility there, though. So, I mean, that makes it worth it.
Yeah, let's not talk about goalies this week.
Apologies to who was it? Oh, there was somebody early on. Sorry to Paul. I hope Andy's pissed again. He's funny when he's mad, but no goalies, no piss.
So the CDK GIF or video that came out of him being that reminded me of like Andy. Mad.
Oh, come on.
Andy, be mad.
I'm not even going to respond to that.
I will say
I've seen the GIF though, and it's embarrassing.
It was a entertaining show last week. Andy, you said you watched like the first few minutes of Off Topic when Maxime was trying to explain himself, and you were just like, "I can't watch this anymore." Did you end up watching it or no?
No, he said that I came off as a very disappointed father, and it was like that one tear streamed down my cheek, and then I turned it off and I walked away.
You just turned it off.
Yeah.
You went outside where it was nice because the weather was great outside.
Yeah, and I just stared at the sunset.
Stare directly in the sun, actually, just to like clear your eyes. No, he went on to say that he thought he might have been wrong, and he maybe agrees with you guys a little bit.
I think maybe he was.
Yeah.
I think about the part where he said MLS didn't have parity. That might have been.
That was when he began to realize that maybe he was wrong about that. I don't know why this popped in my head other than attempting to get back on topic as I see the topic title in this video. Andy, you recently sold a card that I also own that I somewhat yelled at you for lowering the floor, but you decided to cut bait with a Benjamin Stambouli super rare recently. What made you do that?
Is that even cutting bait? I mean,
I don't know.
It's just selling your trash, right?
Did you buy that card or did you win it?
I won it a long time ago. So I won it when he was it was actually when Schalke got relegated. So I won it at the very end of the year, like at the end of the season, and they were relegated. And this is like 3 years ago, so no Division II coverage. Like that card, that was not a good thing for that card.
Not a good thing, yeah.
But he ended up getting sold in that transfer window to whatever Turkish team he's on now. And I thought, okay, I'll just hold on to him, and then maybe he'll have good value once he plays in Turkey. And he never had good value again. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just I don't call that cutting bait though. I just call it I waited until, it was more clear what his value was, and then I sold him.
That's fair. I think being a reward almost takes it out of the discussion of cutting bait because you're just selling it. You're not taking a loss on that. Like cutting bait to me is admitting and taking a loss, as Keith.
Or just admitting right away that like you bought a guy and like within an hour, maybe Twitter told you were very, very, very wrong about buying that card. And you're like,
sold this card?
Well, I think I messed up. So, I mean, or like you used the thumbnail Lozano last week, but, you bought him because he was going to go to LAFC and he doesn't. Value tanks as a result. At what point do you just go, I'm out of this and my money or my ETH or whatever currency we're using could be used somewhere better. I think that's more where I was going with the topic. And I don't know if there's actually a consistently good answer on that.
Probably not. I mean, I think it's one of those, like, it depends. And it's whenever you need to, like, I feel like you end up cutting bait, not because you're just like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. You just like need to do something else. And it almost like forces your hand.
Yeah. I need the money to do something else.
Right.
Yeah. Let me ask you this one. Andy, did you have a Sorare?
Yeah. Still do.
So we all had them. So obviously, like that news came out. I want to pose an example. I want to see if you guys would do it. So news came out that he was transferring. There literally probably was like a 3-minute window that you could get it done. One of my good friends, Tendril Storm, got out for, just talking ETH terms, like 0.2 ETH. I think he got like a bot buy or some buy like right away, and he did it. Obviously, you're a few minutes or a few days removed from Sorare being one of the top players in MLS. I think at that time probably was like a 0.35-ish type of card. Laird, if you would have had it, been able to get 0.2 at that moment, would you have sold? Or would you have just gone, I'm holding? Okay.
I tried to get rid of it, which...
So did I.
Yeah. I was way too late. And it was a level 20 card for me. I had done but I pretty much looked at it as it was dead. And it was the first real instance I had of losing a card to a uncovered league like that, like an important card. And yeah, I tried to get out and I was way too slow.
Okay. I'm gonna say that what you guys are talking about is not cutting bait. That's like the same as a guy blowing out his ACL or something like that. That's like fire sale territory. To me, cutting bait is buying Liam Bailey's super rare and holding on to it for 3 years. At what point should I have sold Leon Bailey is what I feel like cutting bait is.
So when should you have? I mean, there's so much Jamaican utility there when he's actually good.
Yeah, he is good with Jamaica.
Would you have considered it cutting bait if you had sold Zelarayan when we all saw that rumor that he was talking to one of the Saudi clubs like a week earlier, and everybody was like, "That's crazy"?
I would call that
like that was out there. It was definitely out there.
Yeah, I still think that's something else. And maybe I'm just getting into complete semantics, whatever. But
Possibly.
the way I see it is you bought a guy and they're either A, not as good as you thought they were going to be, or B, them, like if they were making a move, it ended up not being a good move for them. But I think fire sale or the guy is injured and I got to dump him is kind of a different thought category or something.
That's fair. This is reminding me of something else that I meant to ask Andy a while ago, and we talked about it a little bit on Limited Time Only this week. But Andy, hypothetically speaking, if you owned like 12% of all the limited cards of a specific player, what is the end game on that?
So I did listen to your guys' show, and I've thought about it a lot. And I think honestly, I'd probably take them all to Pal Trader. I'd DM them and just be like, hey, this guy starts now. His value's gone up X. I don't want to try to sell them all. I know you can. Have at it, pal.
So right now we're looking at 102 Fred Emmings cards. Fred has 826 total limiteds as of now, and they're still obviously still blasting them out.
Yeah,
and
he
looks
like
like
he plays on Minnesota
since you
too.
bought it.
Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll sprinkle one in there.
Yeah, but it did make me wonder, kind of just that, like, what's the end game of 110 of the same player? Like, I know it's kind of like a bit now. Like, I get that. But is Pavel really the only way out?
Well, no.
Do you think you can take that many?
But I think I hate the idea of Keith said it perfectly on Limited Time Only earlier. Was it this week or last week? Either way, dealing with all the offers that are going to try to like skim me for 12 cents or 15 cents, or it's going to be really annoying. And then also I can't list more than a couple at a time, because people are going to know that I have 102 of them. So what am I going to list? I guess I could list 10 at a time. I don't know.
It was the first thing I thought of when we were talking about it. And
I can't play 102 limited lineups.
Right.
I know that. Yeah.
You cannot. I actually don't. You said it. You said the Powell thing. I actually don't hate that at all. Like, just like a convenience sale at that point, because you'd be so far up. But you'd almost have to like time it right too with Powell, because if you did it after like one start, you're not going to get
right.
You almost need like two. So then you're actually sitting there going, "Is he actually starting?"
What's
this just like?
What's Chris Brady worth right now?
Like, sore subject again.
Yeah.
Is it
as he's injured yet again?
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
but I think
limited's like $40.
He's the best case scenario for me on this. I think. I mean,
right.
He's 19 years old.
I mean, yeah,
he
for
starts
sure.
in the MLS.
Yeah, and is Fred older? Same age, 20. What does that say? 2020. Oh, so basically the same. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're still looking at more than 10x.
Yeah. I think the play is to go to Powell, and maybe like Tuggy said here, maybe part of it is you take like half of them and you go to Pal Trader, and then you try to deal the rest of them either yourself or you try to sell the first 50 yourself and then go to Pal with the rest. I don't know. It just sounds like a lot of work. I didn't think about all this when I started buying Fred Emmings. Okay.
Mike Baston, you never have to worry about digital card fatigue with 102 Freds.
That's true.
I think realistically the number's like 12 instead of 102, but
yeah. To get us back on topic, I think Leon Bailey is the perfect representation of this topic. And if you want to pull Leon Bailey's page up to kind of show what he looked like at the end of his career at Leverkusen and what he's done at Aston Villa, I think that's probably a pretty good measuring stick for this conversation. He's a good, solid winger, whatever, scored well.
Did he have set pieces there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Ugh. And I think the big difference between those two as well is, like you said, he had sets. Like, I could consistently start him with some level of confidence that he was, going to get it decisive almost every week.
Yeah.
And now at Aston Villa, I don't even know if he's going to start at Aston Villa. I paid 2.1 ETH for his super rare.
So that was like $50 when you bought it?
I was just about
It was. I don't know. It was during the Gary V boom, so it was probably. I don't know.
then that probably wasn't.
Yeah.
This is not the page I wanted to go to, but I guess here we go.
Yeah, it should be there. I've never transferred it or anything.
Let's see. If you want anything,
3,001.
It's 7 rewards.
Yeah.
Right.
Including tap 240 like last game week? 2 weekends ago?
No. That was back when
that
he
was
was playing
during
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Yeah. Jamaica.
I mean, he was good. Like both of those cards, the Danilo that I won with him, and then the Cap 240 was both when he was actually all 3 of those in a row right there with Jamaica. Look at that.
Right, you just need Gold Cup was the time.
That was it.
Yeah. So don't cut bait. Just wait for Gold Cup is what you're saying.
What could you have? Did you actually look? Could you have gotten anything worthwhile during that Gold Cup run? Because Jamaica was a big favorite in a lot of those games, and I know like on the limited side, and even rares, he had caught a little bit of like momentum during that time.
Mike. Ouch. I don't know what, maybe like 0.5 ETH or something. Like if you pull up his price graph, what did his rares even go to during that Gold Cup run?
Yeah, 0.5.
Yeah,
almost.
So 0.05. So for the super rare, maybe I'm getting 0.3.
Yeah. So would you?
No.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, 0.34.
And I don't know. I'm not selling them. I don't think I'm selling them for that. I don't know what the number is.
I think it just goes back to not whether you need the funds or not. Like it's one of those that if you needed to raise funds, is Bailey in the conversation of cards you would sell to do it?
Well, I don't think he has a worse move in him. So if he ever does move,
hold on. Let me. So now let's go full circle with Sorare. Let's say that somehow you get across that exact same type of cryptic tweet that we got from Sorare like a week before he went. Oh, he might be talking with Saudi. Now, are you
Leon Bailey? Oh man,
yeah. Let's just say that that's the rumor.
I don't know. I've already lost so much on him. Maybe I do, but then okay, so he's worth 0.2 now. This after a Saudi rumor, what's the guy going to be worth 0.1?
As the proud owner of a Carl Toko Ikambi that had Fenerbahce rumors and now is like, I don't know if it's Saudi or Qatar, just somewhere that he'll die. It goes really quick. Even when they haven't signed, it goes down very fast.
Yeah. And you're one of the it's funny to me how quick you are to respond to these rumors and like price fluctuations in players because of how busy you are with like your day to day. I don't know how you hop in and like are able to. I guess you're a deal maker by trade, right? So
there you go.
Yeah,
probably.
TCV.
I mean, so like on Toko, I don't know if it's a weird thing. It probably shouldn't be this way, but because he's a reward, I don't care as much. And I'm just like, all right, I'll just see this out. Versus like this card that I bought yesterday that I'm really hoping he scores during this game going on and I get rid of him. Like those to me and mentally are like completely different situations, even though they shouldn't be.
How about I've got one for you that I know is either still in your gallery, Keith, or maybe you cut bait on him. Johnny Russell Super.
Here. Oh, got it.
We were just talking about Johnny Russell.
No, because I almost had a second one, Andy.
Uh-huh.
I almost had a second one because I got outbid by like $10 and I wasn't paying attention because I actually was working when that auction was ending. And no, I'm not cutting bait. He's still a good end of the season. I mean, hold on. Is there bad rumors on him? I haven't paid attention.
I mean, not that I know of.
Unless your dog knows. Now I'm kind of worried.
I mean, it sounds like she might know something. But I haven't heard any rumors or anything. Like, honestly, if he's moving somewhere, he's probably going back to Scotland or something, right?
Right. Where he could mash there too. No, I mean, that type of card, especially that I have like utility on, I think that type of guy that is still good. Like as long as he plays and doesn't, break a fingernail, he scores when he's on the field. So I mean, I'm pretty good. Just even if it's like a value reason, I'm pretty good to not cutting bait on that type of guy. It's more.
I don't know. Looking at his last 15,
I was going to say
really...
he's really not playing well lately.
Is he not? I like to remember the good days.
I was just about to say, let me pull up the good old days here.
Let's be real. Let's turn on the home splits when I get excited about players.
Okay, yeah, let's see.
Good at home.
Let's do home starts for good old Johnny Russell. Here we go.
See, a lot less yellows. God,
just a lot less scores.
Year and a half ago with him was the best. Like I like to remember the good days.
The run at the end of that season, if you look at the, I mean, it was incredible.
That was a great time for Johnny.
I love Johnny too, but I think he falls into the category of when to cut bait, and I don't even know what he's worth now. It's probably
the super rare. I paid 0.75 for the season. I thought it was just fine. I really liked Kansas City going into the season. They've been terrible. And that last auction was like I put a max bid of 0.25, and I got one bid above me, so I think he was like 0.26.
And then somebody else just paid 0.258.
Well,
Does
I
it
think
worry you that you were after a card that has 5 super rares available on the market right now?
It should have.
It should, right? Like, obviously, they're all much more than what
I think
went for. But
I think right now, Leagues Cup has really made people. I think the little dip, because Andy's here, I can use that word. The dip in MLS has come a lot quicker than it has in past years because of Leagues Cup, because of how long they've been off. I almost think it's unwarranted. Like there's a lot of really good deals in MLS out there right now. So I think from that perspective and knowing what Russell and that he was dealing with injuries a lot of the season, they got knocked out early. He could be back. I think there's some deals to be had out there right now on a guy like that. If you believe, that break helped and that SKC is going to figure it out. But no, it doesn't worry me that much because a couple of those on the market too just are, 0.854. Get out of here.
Would you consider doubling down and buying another one around at that point?
He tried
311 price. Oh, okay.
I tried. I mean that 0.311. I think that's the guy that bought it off of me trying to flip it. Is it? Because I saw him listed immediately.
People are talking about.
I have to contact them.
We're now getting into the more competitions thing. Ben brings up Inter Miami and Copa Libertadores next year will be crazy for SO5. That's not happening.
No.
What will happen is apparently the winners of, what was it? CONCACAF Champions League, Leagues Cup, Copa Libertadores, and Sudamericana. Those 4 will play. But MLS teams cannot reasonably play in Copa Libertadores for a long list of reasons. The biggest one is probably just the absurd travel that it would require.
Right.
Not to mention they would just get blasted. But anyway.
They would get blasted.
You don't think so, Andy?
Depends on the teams, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Does it?
You think Rivers just going to completely destroy LAFC?
Yes, I do. Especially because I know Carlos Vela is not flying down to Argentina.
Hey.
Well, they'll have Chucky Lozano by then. So.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I think you don't think Chiellini and Aaron Long backline would hold up down there?
Right.
Well, definitely not Aaron Long. That's a good point. And yeah.
Yeah, but Aaron Long is the problem of the two of them. I think they'll be fine.
I was actually surprised. I'm like, you don't think the 41-year-old guy that, what was it? Was it this year or last year that the ball was going over his head? He just said, I'm just going to catch it.
Tuggy's right here, though. They're going to have to come up here.
Maybe we just make them all come up here to play us here on our home fields. Then it's fair, right? Just like Leagues Cup.
And if they're too good,
Just
send
like
them to Atlanta. Make two of the two best teams play in Atlanta.
Atlanta and New England. Yeah.
No. I want them to do neutral site. The two best teams in Miami's group have to go to Atlanta to play and see what's left.
Yeah.
Ugh. That would be MLS right there.
Now that we're almost done, Andy, I'll start with you. Do you like Leagues Cup?
I thought it was incredibly entertaining from just like a pure entertainment standpoint. As far as like there were games on almost every night, which was brilliant. Yeah. From an SO5 standpoint, it created a lot of issues because games would get postponed because we have bad weather here in the States, and games would get pushed like one day, and one day puts it in the next game week. Obviously, that's not great. There were a lot of issues since the games were coming so like thick and fast that on a game week lock night, so like tonight, you may not know who's playing in the next game week until the games are over tonight. So it forces me to stay up until 1 a.m. to do my lineups because I have to wait till all the games are over so I know who qualifies for the next game. So to wrap it up, in short, from an SO5 standpoint, it's a pain in the ass, but I still love it because it's entertaining and it's more soccer.
Keith?
Everything you just said, he could have said better than me. Like the Messi games, like have been some. Even though I don't own a Messi, and the FOMO during those games has been outrageous. I mean, those games have been amazing. Like that Dallas Miami game was like one of the best games I've seen in the MLS in a while, just from a pure excitement. So no, I'm a huge fan. I thought it was awesome.
Is now a good time to cut bait? Is now a good time to cut bait on Messi?
Oh, why is he bait?
I don't know. Does his price get any higher than it is right now?
I mean, I'm still pissed that he didn't get that BCM and we didn't get our Jack Elliott clearance off the line. I think that was a little bit of rigging. They didn't want Messi to have a BCM.
Yep.
What's the reason to cut bait with Messi now?
I don't have a reason. I'm not selling.
Oh, okay.
I might sell as limited just because I don't use it properly. Like I just have it because I traded a bot for it and I really don't play limited. So I just kind of like slop together whatever limiteds I have. I just kind of slop them into a lineup. And that's probably not doing Messi justice. So there might be a Messi.
Here's a better Leagues Cup cut bait, Andy, that the two of us will share, and it's painful. Is it time to cut bait on Andre Blake after last game?
After last game, after like his last 10 games, it feels like. Andre Blake has been really frustrating. And the goal Messi scored was phenomenally hit far post, but I think Taylor Twellman said it best. It was a 30-mile-an-hour shot from 60 yards out. And Blake couldn't get a paw on it. Yeah, it might be time to cut bait on Blake.
I mean, we both have multiple of them. That's actually more of like probably a good reason if, you're like, all right, I've been holding both of these and I've been using them, but, do I really need multiple of this guy? Or should I just go ahead and reinvest?
The funny thing is I've been thinking now for a while that it might be really bad to have two of the same goalkeepers. And my thought process is they so rarely get clean sheets. I almost need a statistician to like answer this for me, but they almost never get clean sheets. I mean, I guess when they do, you get 2x clean sheets in the same game week. But I don't know, the pain involved with Andre Blake playing at home, and you think that it's like a lock matchup against a crappy team, and then he concedes in the first 10 minutes, and you have him in your best lineup is just like it's been killing my lineups the past month.
Do you think
the worst part is you get in two of your best lineups, right? Because normally the second one goes in like a different rare pro or a different rare that if you thought a ton of him to have in one of your other best lineups, then he's still in a top tier lineup. You're not like, okay, I'm going to toss away the other one. Never happened. Do you think it's
better or worse to have the same scarcity as opposed to different scarcities? Like if you had a Blake rare and super rare, is that better or worse than two rares or two super rares? I guess.
It's worse.
Yeah.
So I have
makes more sense though.
I have a Jonas Lassel limited rare and super rare and almost bought another rare for basically this game week because I was like, I know he's starting. I've got other players to play around him. And I'm like, I'm already way overexposed. I really should not do this.
And the best part Laird sent me earlier, he also puts middle in parlays just because he's all in.
I haven't submitted that bet yet, but I am looking at a Midtjylland Dusseldorf parlay this week.
It would be even funnier if you just go middle and clean sheet on that parlay bet. So now you just get full pain.
So I've done that before. It was like Midtjylland win in a clean sheet, and it was like an over in another game because I had like attackers in that game, and I was like, yeah, I'm going all in. You would think you would hedge, but no.
Mike mentioned Joe Willis in chat, and honestly, I feel like I don't know if you meant him as part of like the cut bait part of this conversation, but I don't know. I feel like he might be a buy right now. I might be buying Willis and selling Andre Blake and then banking all the ETH.
So I'll give a shout out to
for a super rare.
So
Blake rare.
I'm glad you brought that up. Wait, a Blake super rare or a Willis super rare?
No, take one of his Blake rares and try to see if there's a panic seller for Willis super rare.
Yeah. So I had Joe Willis at the beginning of the season. Did I actually have one? Maybe I take that back. I think I was looking for
You've had a
right? Yeah, okay. So I had a Joe Willis, and then I bought a Brad Stuver, and I was like, I'm getting rid of one of them. And our good friend Trippin' B was like, Willis has so much more competition. He's like the biggest Brad Stuver stan in the world. So I will say that as well.
Great goalkeeper, better man, or something like that. Yeah.
He loves it. Loves that. But his reasoning was that Joe Willis's job was less secure. And Willis went on this like absurd run at the beginning of the season. I thought he had like 17 clean sheets in a row. And he didn't, but it felt that way. And I had Stuver, who was like conceding 3 everywhere, still a really great guy after the game, but terrible SO5. And so the problem was that I have Stuver, and then I finally, I don't even remember, Panico? Is that how you even say his name?
Panico? Yeah, with the Peter Cech helmet on.
So like finally Willis is starting to like lose games in Leagues Cup, which everybody, like a few people have mentioned, like there's a Champions League spot up for grabs in this tournament, and they're literally going to like another goalie.
His father-in-law died though, right?
It was his father-in-law died.
Joe Willis
left the team.
The last two games. Yeah.
Right. But he was there for the second game, right? Like wasn't he on the bench for the second game?
This past game versus Monterrey, he was on the bench.
Right.
But then he like tweeted out after the game is when I saw the thing about his father-in-law. So can you really lose your job? Like, do you really have the stones to have a guy lose his job because the backup played while you're tending to a death in the family?
So do you think he starts the final? Willis.
I think there's a good chance he doesn't.
Yeah, I do too. But that he starts the first game back in the MLS, I could very well see that.
But I would actually not buy him right now, and I would wait till he doesn't. Okay, that's where you're going, and wait till he doesn't start the final, and people really start to get worried, and then I think that might be good buying territory.
I think you mean when people start to cut bait.
Cut bait.
Yeah. What about buying bait? Is that? I mean, because that's what we'll be doing, right?
I love that. That is. They say in stocks when everybody's selling off a company, for everybody that sells, somebody has to buy.
Yeah.
How much is Joe Willis these days?
It's not much.
0.156 is this floor.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And he sold 33 minutes ago for 0.115.
Yep.
Oh, yesterday, 0.107.
To be fair, he is a 35-year-old St. Louis.
35? I don't think he is.
Yeah, he's 35 and out of contract after this season.
With a hell of a mustache, though. That has to give him some.
Who's got a better mustache, Joe Willis or Germ and Chad?
Ooh. It's definitely Germ, but it's damn close. Germ has one where, like, when I met him, I was like, oh, like that. That is a mustache.
Yeah. A proper Raleigh fingers.
Yeah. Man, that is really cheap. It's also double.
It seems like an overreaction. It seems like an overreaction for, like, also like another one I think that's tanked is like Tyler Miller. Because Bono got some games.
That team's also
but he's not even a month removed though from his manager picking him for an All-Star game.
Clowns.
We have talked,
I don't know,
you and I, like, separately, that MLS prices are super low, and there's decent.
That's what I was saying. I think they're too low. I think they're too low. I think Leagues Cup brought on, like, there was always going to be a dip happen. This is probably where the prices were going to go during the dip, but it arrived a lot faster than it has in past years. I have no idea if that's just Europe FOMO. I really think it's because Leagues Cup and all these guys, like, if you had, I have a ton of Sporting KC super rares, and they got out right away, and it feels like they've been on my bench for 3 months. Like, I can't even remember using them, and they're not playing this weekend either. So, like, I think a lot of people
are really off again.
They're really off again.
No wonder there are 5 Johnny Russell super rares on the market.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because nobody's using. So, I mean, I don't know. I do think they got a little cheap, a little fast, considering all of that. I mean, but this is probably where the prices were going to go. You just get a few extra games out of it.
So Ben brought up this question, and I should bring it up to you guys because it's kind of what we're talking about. So a long time ago, I bought like a couple cheap Japanese under 23 goalies. And this guy has started recently for the injured. I actually have no idea what's wrong with, is it Slowick? Is he the one in Tokyo? Anyway, as you can see here, I bought it back on March 29th, 2021.
Oh, wow.
And he's now got 2 starts. He banged 100 in his first game and then had a disappointing 68.3. I haven't given up a goal since he started. Is it time for me to sell this card? Should I cut bait, as Ben? Was that who it was? Yeah.
I mean,
do I cut bait on this card now?
How did that João Felix go for you when this type of thing happened? I mean,
João Felix was life-changing money. This is not changing much at all.
No, but I mean,
this only gets me a Johnny Russell super rare. What am I doing with that?
Do we know how long Slowick is out for?
Tuggy said he was on the bench last game. He thought, but I suppose there is a way to check. He's also, Mike brings this up, he is going to get killed in the next game by Marinos. I don't know if, he probably will to Bissell Kobe.
Or it goes the other way. He drops another 100 if he stands on his head.
He could also get 100. You're right.
I mean, clearly this is
on the bench.
Clearly this is the best goalkeeper of all time, and you just need to keep him and play him every week.
I mean, honestly, how do you get rid of a guy who has an L40 of 84?
Yeah.
Not a cat boy.
U23 until 2027?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And a reminder, it's only 2023 right now.
What is Slowick's little contract status? Is he up at the end of the year?
I have no idea. I feel like they redo contracts every year.
Sorare data tells you. Sorare data.
No, the J League ones aren't
not so good.
Slowick.
No, look at Laird getting ready to sweat a Midtjylland game.
January. I got busted, didn't I? But I am going to show off. Look at this. Every guy that I put in my lineups is starting, and the few that I don't have are subs or outs.
Because you're an expert.
I think it's about.
The squad.
I think it's about.
Maybe. Anyway,
hold on. I think it's about that time of the show that Laird brings up our sponsor of today's show, the Sorare Scandinavia Discord. No?
I thought you were going to say Ridge Wallet.
Yeah. What happened to Ridge Wallet? Where are these guys? I feel like we put a sponsorship opportunity on a platter for them and nothing. Anyway. What was I saying?
No, should you sell him? We
should
did
I sell him?
not answer that question.
Yeah. So Ben is like, you could also buy a Sloken handcuff. The last thing I want to do is handcuff FC Tokyo goals. That is not what I need in my gallery.
Well, and you know what the problem with that answer too is, like, especially as the season's ending and now that the guys played good, like even when Slowick gets the job back and he gives up 2 goals, now you're going to be like, and who do I start next week? Because remember, that was actually the Willis. If you can remember going back to Joe Willis, like when I cut bait on a special edition Joe Willis. I still have not. That's still one of my worst moves on the platform. To get a Gaston Jimenez super rare, as he was like the greatest midfielder in the MLS for 2.5 games, and I'm like, oh, easily I should do this. Terrible move, but the Willis thing was when he had like 4 straight games or 4 out of 5 games when the error led to goal. And then they sit him for a game and he's like, he needs to clear his head. It's like, really? Does he need to clear his head? Or you just want to clear him off the team? So that's like, to me, there's a great example of like a cut bait. Should not have. But, you know, like let's just say in this situation that Slowick gets the job back this week. He gives up 2 goals and one's an error led to goal. And you have both. Now, do you feel really good about either playing? No, you're sitting both of them next weekend.
I've always taken the risk of not handcuffing goalies. And the reason I don't handcuff them, is if I buy Slowick, I'm guaranteed to have a goalie that won't start. And I don't want that. Andy, you'll appreciate this a little more than Keith, although Keith completely understands it. This Nozawa card I have has almost, I guess I'm actually not that close to 2%, but I have one other card from FC Tokyo.
Wow. Is that the original Joan?
It is the original Joan. And
you got it back.
I have this card thanks to Pavel, who somehow ended up with it at some point, and I realized he had it.
Do you get a bonus for him for being the original owner of it?
No.
Oh, it's for only owner.
It's only owner. For those who are completely confused why Joe Numari is a part of a conversation, that's the first reward I ever won on Sorare. And now he's helping boost my Taishi Brandon Nozawa card 3 years ago.
What's funny is you've owned a lot of these guys, like Go Hitano.
I did have a Go Hitano. You're right.
I wonder what happened to him.
He's in the 2nd division somewhere right now. Yeah. Yeah, he plays for Vivera Nagasaki.
Yeah. What is that, a dolphin? There's a bird. It's like a pigeon?
I think it's a bird. Yeah, it's a bird.
Huh.
Just stretched.
Kind of a cool logo.
Love the 2005 on it, too. Here's
their new club.
Hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what their jerseys look like. Yeah, not a fan.
Look at the logo. Look at the mascot picture.
It's like a Pokemon.
Maybe.
Yeah. Man. Has there ever been a more SorareAndrews moment than this right here? Anyway, should I sell this card? Does anybody want to buy that card?
What card are you talking about?
The Nozawa.
Brandon. Well,
level 18? Does he even get minted anymore? Maybe not.
Was going to make a Let's Go Brandon joke, but I'll just stay away from that.
That's the joke you just say.
Yeah.
I feel like there are an equal number of people telling me to sell them versus keep them.
I think Sam made a really good point. If you scroll up, he mentioned that I guess the Slowick injury is kind of complicated or something. And I don't know. I guess they have some tough fixtures and there's no guarantee he's going to be a starter. Sounds like it's a good time to take some profit.
But I also have 4 more years of utility, guys. Okay, so here's the real question. XMK said I should keep him because I'm not profiting that much. I think it was $88
You are,
and
though.
$350.
Oh.
Is the upside that much bigger?
I mean, for that young keeper, I mean, it's a Chris Brady. It's Chris Brady upside.
Does he? Honestly, does a J League under 23 goalie, like for every Osaka, there's a Tani, right? And
yeah, for every Brady though, there's a David Ochoa.
When should you have cut bait on him?
Wow, that is a great question right there. So here's part of the struggle. I own the 1 of 100 rare and the 1 of 10 super rare. Should I maybe not cut bait and go get his unique from that year and then have all the number ones?
No.
So you could have, and I'm not saying that you should have, but didn't he get like one? So he went to DC.
Yeah.
Got like a start or two.
He was their starter.
At that point, it wasn't that many starts, right? Like
it was at the very end of the year, like 4 starts or something.
I didn't even know he started.
And and he was okay. And then wasn't MX rumors?
No, he went to San Luis, but then he got drunk at every practice and punched his coach.
So, should you have cut bait on the punch?
On which part?
I did not know that story.
It was 9 starts at DC, by the way.
So I don't know if that was like public or anything, but Sorare Mexico, I think, knows some people affiliated with that club.
It's public now.
Mentioned that, yeah.
Oh. Wasn't the first? Didn't he?
Was it only one start with DC? No, that's one start with San Luis.
This is San Luis, and he came off the bench. Didn't even start.
Right. Yeah, that's the funny thing, because that him coming off the bench, the starter got hurt. He came off the bench, and it baited me into playing him the next week because he was supposed to start, but then they played the third string goalkeeper, and then I think that's when he was like, "All right, I'm going to drink every day at practice."
What was it? What did he do at RSL? Wasn't it he?
Didn't he kick a ball into the stands or something?
I mean, okay, he won a playoff game against Minnesota, and after the game, the Wonderwall or whatever, they were singing their song and doing their dance, and he drop kicked the ball towards the fans, and oh my God, everyone lost their shit like he was public enemy number 1. He was killing babies. Actually, when he drop kicked that ball, he was trying to hit a kid. Is what I heard.
But like it was just like he just like drop kicked it like into this upper deck. Like it's not like he found a kid in the front row and just like pelted him with it.
But Heath made a big deal about it. Minnesota's manager made a big deal about it.
Yeah.
I remember that. But then what was the start of the next season? He shows up with the mustache, and he got really excited with the stash. Then I think he got hurt like right after a preseason game. But then I'm trying to remember what the Instagram thing was. There was something that he posted. This guy's a complicated man.
He is. Well, he had the Players Tribune thing where he basically, like, I think he had like a coach, like one of his good coaches during his youth career killed themselves. And he said that like whenever he played with the Mexican national team, he felt like he was the gringo. And whenever he played with the Americans, he was the whatever. Yep. I'm not going to say whatever word he said, but I don't know. I think he had kind of a tough, I don't know. He's super immature and he dealt with everything very poorly. In the end, though, when should I have cut bait on David Ochoa?
Yeah, let's see the price graph on the rares.
In fairness, Andy, you spent $15 on this card.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it got up to.
I mean, I could have had the world, right? $4,000. Look at that.
Bucks. Oh,
wow. At least I didn't pay $4,000 for a David Ochoa rare.
So, Laird and Andy, here's my better question: is not that because obviously he was getting $4,000 because he was like a 19-year-old MLS starter, probably during the summers when that sold. I want to know that second yo-yo, if you saw, or the second middle finger, is like that's a better question of Andy. Like, should that have been an out?
I mean, that was the Gary V boom, and I don't know. He was
Yeah,
like
I'm not saying that one. I'm
solidified-
saying the next one. I'm saying the next one over there.
Okay.
Like this one?
Yes, because I'm assuming that's either MX or DC United. That he would have rebounded.
That's when Andy
some
was like,
value.
"Sweet, I have a new goalie."
I was like, sweet, I have a new goalie until a new U23 goalie until 2027
Yeah,
or whenever.
But that
I don't
stuff
know.
happened. But that stuff happened after all the BS and stuff that you just kind of went over too. So you kind of knew, like, hey, this isn't the most dependable guy that I have sitting here in my gallery. So, like, I guess that's would be one of my questions. Is that when you cut? I mean, it's really hard.
Summer
You're not
U23 goalies are hard, man. We can't all have Taishi Brandon Nozawa.
Yeah, I don't know. I still think he's going to come back. He's going to sober up, and he's going to be a U23 goalkeeper somewhere.
I mean,
Shout out to
he
Surface
might
and Great
be
here, by the way, battling you for the card.
Might be competing with Go Hatano by that time.
Maybe.
I don't think Go Hatano is under 23 anymore.
Maybe J League is where David Ochoa needs to go.
No, but Go Hatano is another similar, like, to Laird. Like, the price graph on Go Hatano is absolutely ridiculous.
Do you want to know how much I paid for my Go Hatano?
It was a referral. Yeah. Got out for like $1,000.
That's not bad at all, to be honest. Like, you timed that perfectly.
I don't think I ever won anything with it. You know what's funny is that if I remember correctly, I got 2 referral rewards on the same day when I got Hatano. And I was super excited about Hatano because I knew he was an under 23 goalie, and I like totally luck boxed it. And I remember having no idea who the other guy was and was totally disappointed about it. And guess who it was? Franco Armani. I opened Armani and I'm like, I'm like old Argentinian goalie, whatever. And then I got Hatano and I'm like, let's go. Sorare makes you do some weird things. I like this question here. Worst lack of cutting bait. Black with Ochoa or me with João Felix?
Okay. I'm never gonna say myself on this one, so I'm always gonna blame Laird. Realistically, thinking he was gonna get 100 ETH for this card, I don't know. I think he was living in dreamland.
That's not the whole story. It's not that I thought I would get 100 ETH for it. Is I asked somebody what they thought the most it would ever be, and they said,
"Oh, you've already outed the somebody. You don't have to keep saying somebody.
That's
you've
right.
Already outed."
Sean told me he thought it could be worth 100 ETH one day, without even the disclaimer that ETH was worth a penny.
Yeah, why are we protecting Sean on this one?
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. But like, why would I sell something for 6 when one day it could be worth 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How much is that in US dollars there during the Gary V boom?
Oh God.
14,025 is the peak.
Man.
I paid $379.
Which seems way too much now.
I mean, the floor is what now? 278. It's not that far.
What was it that came out today that Atletico said that they were never going to sell him, and he said he was not going to play for them? Or
he said he wants out, and they said you can leave as long as you pay your release clause, which is $350 million. He doesn't have $350 million. Although, and somebody was commenting today, he's bidding on cards today.
Oh, here's actually better. I found the tweet. Atletico Madrid takes alleged threat of João Felix terminating his contract as a joke. If he wants to do so, he'll have to pay his $350 million release clause himself.
Yeah, I mean it's how it works. If you have a release clause and you want to be released, you pay.
Somebody's got to pay for it, right?
Yeah, they don't care who pays it. you just got to pay it. And if no club is going to pay it, then he has to. I get it.
So I guess he's just not going to play, and he's going to play Sorare instead.
Yeah, I think that's exactly. He probably saw some video. It was like a Nellis video from 3 years ago about how much money he made on Sorare. And now he's like, oh, I'll just do that instead.
Yeah. Well, he has a bunch of the signature cards, right?
Somebody said he sold the Enzo one the other day. Is that
needing to raise funds for that release clause?
That's right.
Is this? I don't know what his. Do I have to go to Sorare for that?
Maybe. I can find it for you and just tell you what it is.
Yeah. I thought it was like João Felix something or other. Thank you, Will. Times 10.
Did somebody drop it in there?
No. But he said the Nellis joke deserved more likes. I think this is it. I think it is João Felix 7910. Can I do player edition? How smart is our smart search? Holy shit!
Oh,
really smart.
It was there for a second.
Huh?
It was there for a second, then gone.
Yeah, it only liked.
Oh, there it is.
It doesn't like it if you type it all the way in, but if you just type in like the first part of it.
Player ed. All right.
I'm not going to touch anything.
Antonio Silva's pretty slick.
Is that actually a team you can even play? Like he's missing a goalkeeper and a mid. No, he's got a midfielder. Yeah.
I mean, he can't play himself at forward.
Right.
He doesn't play.
That Antonio Silva one is pretty good.
Really nice.
What do you think he got for it? I think there was like a reasonable trade, just free. Yeah, but somebody said he sold the Enzo.
So did he get all of his teammates to sign up for this, and then he just took their cards, or what?
Man. Oh, Willie got it.
And he was like, "I'll buy you guys lunch."
You're gonna bring out the pitchforks here, Andy.
Elise and Enzo for Enzo.
That seems like a pretty good deal for whoever pulled it off.
Yeah. That doesn't seem bad at all.
Not at all.
Willie. Shaggers United.
That a boy, Willie.
Yeah, and now he's buying second division limited cards.
What the fuck? What? He just bought Adam Armstrong?
Yeah, I actually just sold Adam Armstrong's rare the other day. That might have been yesterday.
Oh, this is hilarious. I literally I'm like picturing him at training or not training, just at the locker room being like, I'm looking up Leicester depth chart. Limited Kieran Dewsbury Hall. That'll show Simeone.
Okay, I get that one. Who's Adams Armstrong?
He plays for Southampton. He's a striker.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why anybody would buy his card.
He was great in the championship before he moved. He went to EPL last year. He was great in the championship the year before. I think it was Blackburn or something like that. He just would. I think he led the championship in shots or something like that. He was really good.
Yeah, Zhao's just a limited guy for now.
Zhao's got some deep cuts on this scouting.
It's a long way from $350 million, but got to start somewhere.
It's hilarious.
I think it's me, by the way. To answer the actual question, it's absolutely me.
Do you think he like how engaged do you think he is with Sorare?
Not at all.
You think he just I don't know, he was doing trades this morning, right?
Let's see.
Do you think he's in the Discord?
He has.
What's up with this guy?
I don't think he's ever set a lineup.
Oh, really?
Oh, wait. I take it back. Take it back. He has won 16 rewards, including Kositani, all limited, and he apparently won a $5 threshold at some point.
XMK said it might not even be him on the account.
Yeah.
I I kind of agree, but I also think it'd be really weird for him to like just have like some guy that just like randomly, all right, go buy Adam Armstrong today, okay? And like, I don't know,
No,
some
I think
guys.
I'm guessing it's somebody who was like, "Hey, I opened this account for you so you could get this signed card. Somebody might pay you for it." And it's like, "Oh, while I'm here, I'm just going to play." And he's like, "Fine, yeah, do whatever you want. I don't care." I think the better question is, does he have a cash wallet? Doesn't seem to be using Sorare data. SR Monkey said, imagine if he's watching live, laughing at me for not selling his card. He's probably watching, thinking to himself, why on earth was my card ever that expensive?
There's no way João Felix is watching, but there's a good chance David Ochoa is watching.
I would just love in the comments. You've got that story wrong, Black. Let me come on. Yeah. Clear my name.
Sipping back on his Tecate.
Thank you to everybody for joining us. If you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny, who was here. I missed the fist bump earlier. What's up, Quinny? Boy, that was something. All right. So what's today? Thursday. Tomorrow is off topic. And then we'll be back with a full schedule next week. As a reminder, kiwi is not going to kill you if you eat the skin, but just don't eat it. But again, nowhere remotely close to the top of the rankings. Andy,
did you look that up? Did you look that up for sure?
I didn't actually. Not medical advice.
Okay.
No dietary advice. Or yeah, that's it. That's it. Anyway, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week.